Temperatures may be dropping, but the sports world ain't stopping. Welcome back to the Game Clock. We finally have some local news to report as the Newburgh Goldbacks basketball team started their redemption season with a 64-59 win over the reigning section champion Kingston Tigers. They look to keep rolling against the Bushmen of Pine Bush on Thursday. As for the JV team, they defeated Red Hook 67-32. After speaking to coach Rich Anderson, he said it should have been 90. They look to continue their reign of terror against Pine Bush on Thursday. Varsity Wrestling demolished Cornwall 64-9 as they look to also continue their dominance against Washingtonville next week. The last month was a continuous spiral of confusion and delusion for baseball fans. Managers' kids got involved, every insider tried to break the news, and the most absurd offseason sweepstakes in baseball history. After a brutal stretch on Twitter and every other social media platform, we finally got answers. Juan Soto is a New York Met. The Dominican superstar signed a 15-year, $765 million contract with Queens Army on Sunday night. With the news of this signing, now the attention turns to Mets first baseman Pete Alonso. Will the polar bear come back? We'll find out soon. When you are the team that Juan Soto left after adding $760 million, you get frustrated. You go out and sign anybody. The Yankees made their first splash last night, signing left-hander Max Fried to an 8-year, $218 million contract, the highest paid left-hander in MLB history. Minus the length of the contract, this is a great signing for the Bronx Bombers. While also being linked to first baseman Christian Walker and outfielder Cody Bellinger, this Yankees offseason is far from over. Some other free agency news involves shortstop Willie Adames of the Giants on a 7-year, $182 million deal. The first signing for new team president Buster Posey. The former Red Sox outfielder Tyler O'Neill heads down to the Mid-Atlantic in Baltimore, signing with the Orioles for a 3-year, $49.5 million deal. Where will the top free agents land? That remains to be determined. What isn't? The big fish is off the board. And now for some soccer news, here's Chris with your latest updates.
Soccer news. Chelsea vs Tottenham happened Saturday. The match ended 4-3 in favor of Chelsea. Slotnick scored the opening goal, and not long after, Kulusevski scores another to put Tottenham 2-0 in the lead in just first 10 minutes. After a couple minutes, Chelsea's Jadon Sancho scored in the 17th minute. In the 61st minute, Chelsea was awarded a penalty with Cole Palmer stepping up to take it, and he scores it. In the 73rd minute, the ball deflected off a defender's leg of Tottenham, and Enzo Fernandez scores a beautiful half volley, putting Chelsea ahead. In the 84th minute, Chelsea was awarded another penalty with Cole Palmer taking the penalty and scoring it again. In the 96th minute, Tottenham's Son Heung-min scored, but wasn't enough to save Tottenham. For Premier League standings, we have Liverpool in first with 35 points, Chelsea in second with 31 points, Arsenal in third with 29 points, Manchester City with 27 points, and Nottingham Forest with 25 points. Rounding out the mid-table, it goes Aston Villa, Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford, Fulham, Tottenham, Newcastle, United, and West Ham. In relegation, Everton, Leicester City, Crystal Palace, Ipswich Town, Wolves, and Southampton. Moving on to the Spanish League, Saturday, Real Betis vs Barcelona was a tied match that ended 2-2. In the first minute of the match, Real Betis could have scored with the header. Barcelona's captain makes the line clearance and keeps the match 0-0. At the beginning of second half, in the 39th minute, Lewandowski scored from a beautiful low cross from Barcelona's Koundé. In the 68th minute, Real Betis was awarded a penalty from a foul on Real Betis' Victor Roque. Lo Celso steps up to take it, and he scores it. In the 82nd minute, Barca's Lamine Yamal sent a through ball to Ferran Torres, and he scores it, making the score 2-1. It looked like Barca was going to win the match till in the 94th minute. Real Betis, Ruben Neves sent across to Diao, and he shot it and put the ball in the back of the net. Tying the match, wins the match for Real Betis. For the standings, we have Barcelona in first with 38 points, Real Madrid in second with 36 points, Atletico Madrid in third with 35 points, Athletic Club with 32 points, and Villarreal with 26 points.
The Tri-State hockey situation is turning upside down. Starting off first with the New Jersey Devils. This team is absolutely rolling. They sit in second place with 39 points. Even though they suffered an overtime loss to the Leafs last night, they have a chance to bounce back against the LA Kings in Newark. Over in Long Island, the Islanders are in a completely different position. losing once again to the LA Kings and falling to an abysmal 11, 12, and 7. They look to figure it out against the Blackhawks on Thursday night. Sometimes when a team fails, a change of leadership is in order. But what if this change doesn't work? Are there still other cancers within the organization? That is the nicest way I can describe the New York Rangers. An abysmal 2-8 in their last 10 games, this team looks lifeless. They look to figure something out against the Sabres tonight. Moving on to the hardware, the Knicks continued their dominance with a 113-108 win against the Toronto Raptors as they look to continue the momentum going against the Hawks tonight at the Garden. Now, enough talk about that. Let's get on to the wrap-up. The NFL is in sheer chaos, but shockingly this week was a little bit lighter. It all started on Thursday Night Football in Motown. The 11-1 Detroit Lions played host to the heated rival 9-3 Packers. On paper, this game had a ton of potential fireworks, and it provided a show. Detroit came out guns blazing, scoring a touchdown and kicking a field goal for an early 10-0 lead. Fortunately for the Packers, they have a star back of their own named Josh Jacobs, and he found the end zone to get Green Bay on the board. However, Detroit has a running back duo so destructive they are literally nicknamed Sonic and Knuckles. That is not a joke, that is their actual nickname. Sonic, aka Jahmyr Gibbs, took it into the end zone to put the lead back to 10. This is where Jordan Love woke up. He found tight end Tucker Kraft for a 12-yard score, 17-14 Detroit. After a defensive stop, Jacobs found the end zone again, 21-17 Green Bay. With star corner Jair Alexander out with an injury, surely wide receiver 1 Amon-Ra St. Brown will be a huge factor. Unfortunately for me and all the other fantasy owners, I have to say that he was not. However, Tim Patrick was. 24-21 Lions. After another stop, it was Josh Jacobs getting his hat trick. 28-24 Packers. Another long, meticulous drive, it was Goff to Patrick times 2. 31-28 Lions. A field goal by Brandon McManus evened it up with 3:38 left. 31-31. The Lions again drove deep down the field and were positioned to take the lead. They were on third down by less than a yard. After getting stopped, they went for it on fourth down. Dan Campbell, or should I say Dan Gamble, made the most controversial decision of the year, and it worked. But seriously, you really think this is going to work in a high-stakes playoff game? What's going to happen when you play the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles? You can't go for it every time. Sometimes you just have to settle and take the points. Anyway, Jake Bates then kicked the game winner as the Lions improved to a 12-1 record by a final score of 34-31. Heading up to Minnesota, one man had one thing on his mind: revenge. As you may not know, Kirk Cousins was signed in the offseason by the Falcons for a 4-year, $180 million contract. The Michigan State quarterback played 6 seasons in Minneapolis from 2018 to 2023. Regardless, this would be Kirk's first game in Minneapolis since heading down south. From the opening kickoff, it looked like a back-and-forth contest, with both teams trading blows leading to a 14-10 score at halftime. In the third quarter, it was the same thing. This time, touchdowns by their stars: Bijan for the Falcons and Jefferson for the Vikings. Tied at 21, Jordan Addison took matters into his own hands, scoring his second and third touchdowns of the game to give Minnesota a 2-score lead. Aaron Jones would put the final nail in the coffin, ending an unanswered 21-point fourth quarter. With Detroit's win, Minnesota managed to stay in control of their own destiny. If you look at the previous generation of NFL QBs, Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger, Rivers, McNabb, Favre, Romo, 99% of them are retired. The ones that remain, Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford. Let's focus on Stafford for now. The Rams have been an incredibly streaky and inconsistent team, sitting at 6-6, and this week's opponent would not make it easier. The 10-2 Buffalo Bills, led by the consensus MVP Josh Allen. These are the matchups people love to see. Both teams started off hot, finding the end zone and being even after one. Even though the Rams needed perfection, they're able to settle for a field goal. Why, you may ask? The Rams blocked a punt and ran it back to go up by 10. On a long 41-yard screen pass to Ty Johnson, Buffalo got back within 3. With under 3 minutes in the quarter, staff found Puka Nacua to go back up by double digits, and the Rams were not done. Kyron Williams found the end zone a second time to give the Rams a 17-point lead. You may think the stress levels have dropped. You're sadly mistaken. No Rams game goes without a heart attack. Allen found Khalil Shakir on broken coverage for a long touchdown. Stafford countered Allen with a touchdown to cut. Early in the fourth, Allen found the end zone a fourth time on a sneak. On a fade route to the corner of the end zone, Josh Allen once again put 6 on the board, this time to Matt Collins. Down by 3 needing a stop, the defense ran out of gas. Stafford found Nacua for his second touchdown of the game. Allen was able to drive down quick and again find the end zone for his 6th score of the game. The Rams recovered the onside kick and finally ended this madness. Set for an individual matchup with the 49ers, the Rams control their own destiny. Meanwhile, for Buffalo, they take on the Detroit Lions and will very well be the game of the year. Junior.
Since no games required a deep dive, here are the other results. The Steelers defended home field with a bounce back 27-14 against the Browns. The Giants' tank keeps on rolling with a 14-11 loss to the Saints. It took to OT. But the Dolphins survived against the Jets, winning 32-26. The Jaguars defeated the Titans 10-6. Up in Philly, and Eagles got against the Panthers. Then in Tampa Bay, The Bucks claimed first place. The Seahawks beat the Cardinals 30-18 in Arizona to remain in first place. Over in San Francisco, 49ers crushed the Bears 38-13. Kansas City fluked another win, defeating the Chargers 19-17. And on Monday Night Football, the Bengals beat the Cowboys 27-20. Normally, this is where we say goodbye, but we have a bit more to discuss.
College football world, it is finally time to determine the 12 teams that will be going to the first ever 12-team playoff. This past weekend, the conference champions were decided. The 5 highest ranked conference champions will be headlining the CFP. Here are the results from Saturday's showcase. The number 1 ranked, undefeated Oregon Ducks defeated Penn State, winning the Big Ten championship 45-37, as they claim the number 1 seed with a 13-0 record, the only undefeated team in college football. The number 7 ranked Georgia Bulldogs upset the number 2 ranked Texas Longhorns in the SEC championship 22-19 in overtime. After finishing the season 11-2, the Dogs will claim the number 2 seed. In the ACC championship in Charlotte, we had an absolute classic. The number 9 ranked SMU Mustangs took on the number 14 ranked Clemson Tigers. And in a shocking twist, the 10-3 Tigers stole the ACC. Since the 5th highest ranked champion is the automatic 12 seed, they will claim that, as the Boise State Broncos dominated the Mountain West Conference Championship, and because of their 11-1 record, the Broncos will hold the number 3 seed. In the Big 12 championship, the Arizona State Sun Devils will claim the number 4 seed. As for the at-large spots, it goes as follows. Number 5 Texas, number 6 Penn State, number 7 Notre Dame, number 8 Ohio State, number 9 Tennessee, number 10 Indiana, and number 11 SMU. Only one college football game matters this weekend. The Battle of America. Army versus Navy. The game where the entire country gets to watch a brand of old school football in honor of the country they serve. This year, both teams have had great seasons, as the Navy midshipmen finished off 8-3 from a very good year from quarterback Blake Horvath. They were previously ranked and eventually lost a few games. As for your hometown Black Knights, they finished 11-1 and won the American Athletic Conference title in their first season with the conference. They are ranked number 22 in the country, led by senior QB Bryson Daly, who has flipped the Black Knights around into a group of 5 powerhouse. However, rankings don't mean anything in this rivalry. Who comes out on top this Saturday? We'll let the soldiers decide. Thanks for your service. That's all the time we have for today's show. I'm JJ Seglio, and we'll see you next week.